Welcome back to GN Sports, brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Joining me now for a live Gimme 5 is my good buddy, Michael Cerami, who runs Bleacher Nation. My guy, MC, appreciate you for stopping by, sir. Listen, there's a lot of great stuff going on, but we're here to talk about the Cubs tonight. And through 37 games, how are you feeling so far about the Northsiders?
Like I said backstage, I'm glad you asked me that after the win, because I think I'd feel a little bit worse after a sweep at home. So feeling a little bit better after the Cubs pulled out the win behind Justin Steele yesterday against the Cardinals. They have surprised us in a lot of ways this year. I think the offense is a lot better than anyone thought it was going to be. The starting rotation is as good as we hoped. You know, it's helped a lot by some excellent defense. There's obviously some holes in this team. There's a reason they're still just flirting around 500, but generally speaking, I think it's gone about as good as we could have hoped for around this time of the year.
You started to see early on in the season that this team, with pitching being the way that it was, but this team was really going to live and die by how good they could be at the plate offensively. And we saw guys get hot, but also as well, were you expecting them to be as good from the plate as they were early on in the season?
No, I mean, there was certainly hope, right? A guy like Cody Bellinger, a guy who's played at an MVP level before, you don't want to count on him contributing as much as he has. A guy like Trey Mancini, who's been an all-star before, you don't want to count on him doing what he's done. Ian Happ really finally put everything together last year. Was he going to repeat that or start to do the peak and valley thing that, you know, sort of defined the early part of his career? But early on especially, everyone sort of hit that 90th percentile outcome that you would have this dream scenario, and it's what led to the Cubs leading the league in average OBP, slugging, the advanced stats. Everything across the board for a long time was as good as you could have hoped. So I think it was good to see that they're capable of performing at that level. Some of the guys are still hitting their stride. Dansby Swanson is finally hitting for power, and it's definitely at a point now where they just have to find the right pieces, figure out the right roles for everybody, and that's what April and May is for.
All right, I want to talk about Cody because, you know, my son, huge fan, heard they was coming to the north side, 1-year deal. I think with everything that was happening, being a former MVP, all that stuff, everything that comes with it, the new change of scenery seems to be kind of helping him out a little bit. He feels to be settling in, but a lot of that conversation is with Cody is that extension. Do you see that happening at some point?
So, you know, this was a topic of conversation this week because the Cubs GM, Carter Hawkins, went on radio and talked about, hey, we'd love to keep him around. Realistically, I don't see it happening for a few reasons. One, the entire reason Cody Bellinger picked the Cubs is because he wanted a 1-year deal to reset himself, reset his value in the market, and go out there and get that big multi-year multiple $100 million contract, ideally. If he keeps playing the way that he is currently playing, he's going to not price himself out of the Cubs' ability to spend that sort of money to keep him around, but to an extent that they rather divert those dollars elsewhere. Their two best prospects are at Double-A and High-A, play center field, and one of them, Pete Crow Armstrong, is their top prospect. He's excellent. He's already an amazing center fielder defensively. His offense has taken off. He's going to be in Triple-A by the end of this year. And the Cubs have a number of other prospects that are center fielders. And with having already contributed dollars to Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki and right and left, I just can't see them prioritizing $150, $200 million contract for Cody Bellinger. But again, that doesn't have to be seen as a loss. There's a lot of the best teams in the league go out there and spend money on these guys, get their best years out of them, let them move on and promote from within. So if he can help them get to the playoffs this year and then go make his money elsewhere while the Cubs can backfill and use that money in different places, that's amazing. That'd be a win.
All right, yesterday, Eric Hosmer was left out of the lineup. What do you make of his situation right now?
I'd say that, you know, his time was numbered. His days were numbered from the start of the season with Matt Mervis, the Cubs' top first base prospect, also a lefty, you know, destroying the baseball in Triple-A. They finally called him up. Mervis hasn't quite gotten his feet underneath him yet, but even with that in mind, I think Hosmer is going to filter into the Cubs starting lineup as a DH only occasionally. And if Chris Morel, just called up from Triple-A, continues to hit the ball like he has been, then those starts are going to dry up too. So it's tough because by all accounts, Hosmer is extremely popular in the clubhouse. He's a great veteran leader, all of that stuff. But at a certain point, he's showing us exactly what he is and what he has been for the last 4 or 5 years. There's not really much upside remaining. So if the Cubs continue to flirt around 500 or a little bit better, they're going to have to sooner or later cut bait with him. And the good news is he will still get his money. He gets his money from the Padres mostly. Cubs will have to cut a little bit of money, but not too much, something that can easily be done. So, if and when that day happens, hasn't happened yet, we'll thank him for his leadership and, best of luck.
You said a name that I've been talking about since he came up from Iowa and had that time to get things right. Chris Morel, man. Like the spark plug. Seems like the spark plug on the north side, man. It's good to have him back up.
Yeah, every single time he comes to the plate, every single time he gets a hit, he's the absolute definition of a spark plug for when you're calling up a guy from the minors to give your team a little bit of jolt. We kind of hoped that would be, Velasquez, or maybe you hope it would be Matt Mervis, but Morel has that infectious smile and the loud tools to really make an impact and kind of elevate the clubhouse in a way that, the guys that are just going about their business, even the best ones, aren't able to do. He's the new blood that kind of really can lift a team. We've seen it a million times in baseball. It always happens. Hopefully he'll be the guy for the Cubs this year.
Well, you look at the Cubs right now. The Cubs have two pitchers in the top 5 at ERA, Justin Steele and Marcus Stroman. Talk about Steele, though. Like, dude's doing what he's got to do, but it's been such a sight for sore eyes to see him do what he's doing right now on the mound.
Yeah, and, I'd say he's probably – I don't think it's crazy to call him one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball. Nobody knows what he's doing, and nobody knows or is talking about it. And you can go back to last season. He had a 14-game stretch of 2 earned runs or fewer, tying Jake Arrieta from 2015, his amazing season. That ended last night, but it was still 6 innings and 3 earned runs, a quality start. He is amazing. He, a big part of his development goes back to last season when he talked to John Lester. Lester gave him some tips specifically about how to attack right-handed hitters with his fastball. He made that adjustment and has absolutely taken off ever since.
And then the slider, too. Once you're pounding that zone with the fastball, the next thing you know, slide comes in. It is crazy. Last question before we let you go. On this 9-game road trip for the Cubs, what are you looking forward to seeing out of them?
I think one of the most important things we could see is, I'll give you one for both sides of the ball. Jameson Taillon kind of getting healthy and getting back into his rhythm. He went on the IL with a groin injury, and he's back, and he hasn't quite taken off yet, but he's a big part of the rotation. We'd love to see him settle in. And then Matt Mervis finally take off. We know he has the skills, but we need to see him finally start to get into a rhythm at the plate. If he does, he'll lock down first base for 6-7 years.
Michael Cerami, we appreciate you for joining us tonight here on GN Sports.